Hey there guys, welcome to the Vital Personal Training Summer 10-Week Challenge. Congratulations on having made this first step of just signing up. That's basically the most important thing that you actually need to do, is starting the process, so well done there. So for any of you who haven't met me yet, my name is Marty. I'm the sole owner and runner of Vital Personal Training. And I've been running Vital Personal Training for 5 years now. And I'm very, very excited to be doing my third edition of a summer challenge now. And I've sort of been refining the process and making it a bit more successful each time with the clients. So I think that you guys are going to really have a great time with this one and definitely achieve all of the things that you want to with it. So we might just jump straight into things. Basically, the majority of you will be in this challenge looking to lose weight or fat, as it were. There might be a few of you in here that are looking to gain some weight or just gain/maintain some muscle. So we're going to be talking about both of those things. We'll probably focus a little more on the losing weight, and we'll start with that first. So basically, unless you are looking at a very simple science-based approach to losing weight, you can throw everything out that you've ever heard from Herbalife, Isagenix, Lean Cuisine, any of those sort of MLM companies where all they want is your money and don't really teach you the fundamentals about how to lose weight. Forget those things. I'm here to teach you the basics of it. So the only way to lose weight is to be in what's called a calorie deficit. That is where you are burning more calories than you are consuming. So however you might do that is up to you and up to me, I guess, as well. But as long as you are in that calorie deficit, you are 100% guaranteed to lose weight. That is the simplest thing there is. Nothing else matters. Food in, energy out. That's it. On the same scale, the only way to gain weight, for those of you looking at that, is to be in a calorie surplus. So that is eating more calories than you are burning. Now, in terms of muscle mass for the both of these things, I'll touch on it a little later, but very simply put, you're not going to add much or any muscle to your body when you're in a calorie deficit. Your muscles basically need a surplus to synthesize new muscle. But as I said, I'll go into that a little bit more in detail just a little bit further in the video. What I will touch on with that though is you don't have to, especially as a woman, worry in any sense about, getting too ripped or being too bulky or muscular or anything like that. Like, that's literally not going to happen. Just picture every single amazing body that you have ever seen. That was 100% achieved with both a calorie deficit and working out to tone muscle. So, talking about a deficit, obviously a few of you will have been in this before on previous diets, whether they were short-term, long-term, what is it? Most of you will have felt the hunger that is associated with being in a calorie deficit. I kind of just wanted to touch on a couple of things that you can do to eliminate those hunger pains or just help yourself out a little bit with it. So number one is something that I recently posted on my own page talking about intermittent fasting and how hunger comes to you in waves. So while you might be hungry at a certain time in the day, say around lunchtime, and you haven't been able to eat much because of your calorie deficit, if you push through that, that hunger pain will stop. It generally isn't something that's going to consist for a really long time. Like, it's not going to stay there the whole time because your body's not going to want to be in pain. So if it's not getting fed, it's not going to continue to make you feel hungry all the time because it doesn't want to feel terrible either. So push through that little barrier that there is. It's a little uncomfortable, but push through it and you'll be totally fine. Some ways to push through that barrier to help you out: drinking tea, drinking water, drinking caffeine. So think coffee, obviously not milky coffee. So, long blacks, espressos. You can have like a dash of milk. That's really not going to do much, but in terms of adding calories, so that's fine. But stay away from things like lattes and flat whites in terms of helping hunger pains. They're totally fine as long as you've incorporated them into your calories to have those, but just be aware that they will add calories if you're trying to kind of just keep hunger at bay. So water, coffee, tea, caffeine such as Coke Zero, Diet Coke, Pepsi Max, Sprite Zero, all of those sorts of things. 0 calories, but they will give you a hit of energy because of the caffeine, and caffeine is also a appetite suppressant. So it will help with the hunger pains as well. Snacking on very low calorie things. So something that I like to do, some of you probably think I'm totally gross and a bit of a rabbit. I like to just snack on a fresh bag of spinach. Other people might like celery, carrots, cucumber, lettuce. Basically think about any of the things that are high percentage makeup of water, very low calorie. So all of those sorts of salads and vegetables and all of those sorts of things are great. Even some fruits are really good. For instance, berries are generally good. So strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, all of those sorts of things generally very low calorie. Don't go crazy with those, just use it as a way to sort of get you through to your next meal if you're absolutely dying of hunger. So we will talk about that muscle synthesis that I was talking about before. So basically, to create new muscle within our body, we have to break it down via doing resistance training or heavy cardio training, things like that. And then it will build itself back up stronger, bigger, thicker, only if there is the correct stimulus for that. So stimulus includes the type of workout that you're doing. Thankfully, you don't have to think about that at all with the program that I've got you on, as well as your nutrition. So nutrition is basically the most important thing in terms of muscle synthesis. You can work as hard as you want in the gym. If you're not getting the right amount of protein or just the right amount of calories, you're never going to put on any muscle and sort of get that more ripped or lean look that you are going for. So protein is definitely the most important of these. You cannot synthesize, that is create new muscle, without having the adequate amount of protein available in your system to resynthesize those muscles. Generally, we look at somewhere between 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. So take me, I generally sit around 80 kilos at the moment. I've been cutting, so I'm down to about 75, 76 at the moment. Let's take an easy number though, so 80. So if I need 2 grams for every kilo of body weight I have, that means I need 160 grams of protein every day. Don't necessarily worry about when you're having these. They don't have to be straight after workouts or before or anything like that. As long as they're happening throughout the day, your body has that stimulus to grow muscle. Split them up into smaller groups because they'll just be more easily digestible rather than wasting any of that protein. So I typically like to have some eggs in the morning. I generally do have a protein shake after my workout because I'm vegetarian. It's an easier way to get my protein in. I have a fair bit of tofu, dairy products like cheese I have a fair bit of, almond milk, nuts, all of that sort of stuff that I have in my system. I can quite easily meet my demands for protein each day. Those of you who are meat eaters will find this a lot easier. Like you can just sort of have a piece of meat with all of your main meals and you will cover your protein needs quite easily. So just make sure that you're sort of getting those and you'll be fine with making muscle. In terms of maintaining muscle, as I was talking about before, while you're in a calorie deficit, that's the only way to burn fat. But at the same time, if you're not getting enough protein, you will start breaking down some of your muscle as well. That's not to say that it's going to be anywhere near the amount that you're going to break down fat, because fat is so more readily available to your body to be used as an energy source. So it will take that well before it's ever going to take muscle, but you will see some depreciation in the amount of muscle in your body just with being in a calorie deficit. So to eliminate most of that happening, or as much as we possibly can, make sure that you're hitting those protein needs every single day. So 1.5 grams to 2 grams per day. If you choose, for instance, the snacks that are higher protein in the meal plan, such as the tuna, the nuts, all of those sorts of things. I think I put beef jerky in there as well. Those things will help to sort of fulfill those needs for protein. Talk to me about shakes if you're going to use them in your diet. I can both recommend things as well as help you eliminate other calories so that you can fit those shakes into your diet as well. That's protein. Exercise. So, as I was saying before, the only way to grow or tone your muscles, in a sense, is to give them stimulus from the gym. That is lifting weights, doing body weight exercises, more intensive cardio. Any of those sorts of things are going to give your body the stimulus to grow bigger, more, thicker muscles, all of that sort of stuff. Again, you don't need to really worry about the science behind how I've written the program. Just know that it is science-based and it will work for adding muscle, keeping muscle, making muscle stronger. That said, you don't necessarily need to add muscle to become stronger. So you guys are going to get way, way stronger than you are right now by the end of the program as well. So don't necessarily worry about, oh, Marty said I can't gain any weight while I'm in any muscle while I'm in a calorie deficit. That means I'm just going to be a weakling. No, you're going to get friggin' strong as hell. So look forward to that. Now, one of the misnomers is that in the fitness industry is that you can basically burn all of your calories away with exercise, and that, oh, I went to the gym today, so that means I was good, I can have a piece of cake. Not the way it works at all. And I'm not saying that you can't treat yourself, go for it, you can treat yourself, but allow for it in calories. Instead of saying, I worked hard, I'm gonna have this thing. Exercise burns far fewer calories than most people are aware of. Most of the time people way overestimate how much they're actually burning. We burn about 5 or 6 times more calories in a day just existing than we do as hard as you can possibly work in the gym. You can work until you throw up and you're never ever going to beat your body at just staying alive in terms of the amount of calories it can burn. So the workouts are not necessarily designed to burn the calories for you. That's what the meal plan is designed for. The meal plan is to restrict the amount of calories you can have to force you to be in that deficit, which will then make you lose weight. The gym is there to give you the stimulus to make yourself stronger, to tone those muscles, make the muscles bigger, and sculpt the body that you've always wanted. Touching again on all of those bodies that you've always seen. Doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, none of those people got that awesome, like really fit, tight looking body without working out, without lifting weights. Seriously, any actress in the film industry, they deadlift more than I could ever deadlift. Like, they're rigs. So don't sort of look at a movie and think, oh man, like they must starve themselves for that. Yes, they're in calorie deficits, but they work bloody hard in the gym for those bodies as well. So the gym will supply that stimulus, but don't think about it as a way to defeat what you've eaten. It's there to help you build habits for the long term in terms of movement. it's to keep your body healthy and strong, and it's to build the body that you actually want to see. That's what's going to be underneath the fat once we shed it all away, is that body that you've built for yourself. Now, while we're touching on exercise as well, the exercise program mightn't actually be for everybody. So for instance, if you are a person, and I had a few of these in the last challenge that I did, that are just not going to get through the workout program at all, you can totally just replace that with walking. You have to be aware that you're not going to build the same amount of muscle. So once you strip away, say for instance, like if you can possibly get down to 15, 10, 5% body fat, which is a very low number for any of those, you're just not going to look as athletic or necessarily as fit as the people that will have been in the gym, but you will have just as effectively trained to lose fat and weight. Walking will burn just about as many calories, or light jogging or anything like that, as going into the gym and working your ass off. So those of you who are looking at losing weight but don't necessarily have the motivation or want to go to the gym or work out or anything like that, walking will be just as effective for you. That kind of brings us into talking about NEAT, which just about every single one of you should be doing in one way or another. NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So basically, it's everything that we do that isn't scheduled exercise. So everything outside of the gym, basically. So that can be things from walking to the shops instead of driving, or even driving to the shops but then using the car park that is the furthest away from the front door of the shops. It could be carrying a basket at the supermarket instead of pushing a trolley. It could be taking the stairs instead of the escalator or the elevator, always, rather than sometimes, always. It's lots of things like that. It can also be somewhat purposeful as well. So it can be, I'm feeling a bit sluggish today, or I don't really feel like I've met my activity threshold for the day, so I'm just going to go out for a nice afternoon walk now. And you know, sometimes that works really well if you've got pets, dogs or anything like that. You can take them out for a walk as you need to anyway, so it can work into your lifestyle anyway. Encompassed into that is also all of the things that our body already naturally does that burns calories, such as maintaining our body heat, digestion, all of that sort of stuff that we need day to day burns far more calories, as I said before, than anything we'll ever do in the gym. So anybody can and should be doing extra things like those if you're wanting to lose weight as your primary objective for the challenge, rather than just saying it's going to happen if I go to the gym. Like we spoke about before, that's not what the gym's for. The gym's to build the body under the fat. Everything else is to strip away the fat. So all of this NEAT, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is going to help that sort of stuff as well. Back onto food, I want to talk a bit about what happens when you hit some stagnation with your weight loss. So obviously all of you will probably experience your highest amount of weight loss towards the start of the program, where you're coming off probably what is a relatively high calorie diet into a much lower one, and your body not having time to respond to that gap will automatically burn the fat in your body to keep up with its energy needs that it was on at that higher level of calories. So what happens the further along in the program we get, if we don't change things at all, the body is eventually going to close in on that calorie limit and slow your metabolism down a bit, so that eventually you're not losing quite as much weight as you were at the beginning. Now, for those of you who are very long-term oriented, don't worry about that. You don't really have to listen so much to this next portion. But for the people that really do want great results from this challenge, this is going to target you specifically. We are looking at refeeds and intermittent fasting or maintenance calories as well. So basically, we never want to give the body a chance to actually catch up to us. So at least once each week, we're just going to throw it a curveball and make it try and really think on its feet to keep up with the amount of stimulus that you're throwing at it to lose weight. So to start with, we'll talk about refeeds. Now, a refeed is basically going up to your maintenance calories from your deficit. So let's say you're on a 1200 calorie diet, and to just maintain your body weight, you would have to eat 2000 calories a day. That means you've got 800 calories between those two. A refeed is a 1 day thing where we're going to take those 800 calories and add them onto what you're eating just with carbohydrate. Yeah, carbs. So, say for instance, again, yes, you're on that 1200 calorie diet, and come Saturday, you're going to do your refeed. On Saturday, basically, you're going to go up to 2000 calories via using more carbs in your diet. Then that next day, Sunday, you're back down to that 1200 again. It's just going to keep the body guessing. There are a couple of other ways that we can do this. You can do this just through maintenance calories as well, except that you don't have to just use those extra calories with carbs. You can include anything else that you want with those as well. So instead of that 800 calories just being carbs, it can now be anything. It can be fats, it can be proteins, it can be anything. Just make sure it's only for those 800 calories or whatever that gap is between maintenance and where you're currently at. The last one is intermittent fasting. Much like these other two, it's going to keep your body guessing, except we're going to go the opposite way. We're going to go under where you are. So 1 day a week, we're going to choose to take you right down to a low level of calories, thinking 500, 600 calories for that day, depending on your body size already. Again, that's doing the same thing, but just going the opposite direction. So with that, we're probably going to have you on a slightly higher amount of calories throughout the week rather than being on the lowest limit as well, because you're going to really struggle when you have to go and do a fasting day then as well. So basically the idea of any of those, whichever one you choose to do, and you have to choose one of those to do, by the way, if you're going for weight loss, is that it is going to stop your body from catching up to you, and it's going to help you keep pushing along on a continuous amount of weight loss on your journey. These have been proven to be more effective than just a low-calorie diet as well. Studies that were done on this compared to just a low-calorie diet saw that after 16 weeks, the people that were doing refeeds or fasting, etc., once a week would see after 16 weeks 50% more weight loss than their competitors doing just a low-calorie diet. And after 6 months of training like that, 3 times as much weight loss. So it is proven, it is effective, and we're going to really, really hammer it home to get you guys onto that as well, to really just keep the progress going the whole time. Moving on, just quickly talking about DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. Stretching, so the DOMS is talking about pain after working out. That can come from anything. It can come from cardio, abs, resistance training. Anything that you're doing can produce DOMS. Even just walking to the shop sometimes can be enough to do it, depending on your activity levels currently. Stretching is the most effective counter activity to that. It will help with the pain. It's not going to make it go away completely, but it will reduce it. As well as just helping you sort of prevent injuries via elasticity of muscle and things, and just removing the injury scare of torn muscles, ligaments, all that sort of stuff. So don't worry too much about that. If you want to do all of that stuff, I have videos available specifically designed to this challenge. And you can do those sort of after your resistance day, after your cardios, after your abs, to help you out with the DOMs there as well. Talking about measurements now, one important thing is to not always focus on the scale. So obviously we're going to be using a multitude of different measurements. We're going to be taking photos, we're going to be taking circumferences, which you'll see in one of the videos that I'm giving you. You're going to be taking averages of weight rather than just normal, I'm going to jump on the scales and weigh myself. So what we're doing is we're looking at a culmination of things rather than just, oh my God, the scales didn't move, nothing happened to me, I'm a fat piece of shit, nothing happened this week, I'm useless, I'm going to start eating junk food and throw out any work that I've possibly done. Not what we're going to do. We're looking at seeing 1 to 3 of those areas improving. You're not always going to see all 3 improve, but you might see 1 improve, and that's what we want. If we're seeing all 3 regress, you're going to have to talk and see sort of what's going on, if you're sort of following things correctly, if you've made any mistakes in calculating food or exercise, etc., things like that, and then we'll talk. But basically, don't get distraught if you see the scales go up or not move down. If your other measurements and photos are showing you, or clothes getting looser are showing you what's happening, trust them. Don't always trust the scale or any of the other measurements. Use them in conjunction with one another. On that note, this is kind of where we're going to wrap up, is honesty. Honesty in holding yourself accountable and honesty in your reporting to me. My job as a PT is to give you guys the information. I can't be with you all the time though. I'm sure you've heard a billion different PTs say that, but it really is true that we can't control everything. We can't bitch slap the fork out of your hand when you're going to go and have the 3rd helping of something. We can't come and scream at you in the morning before you've got to go to work to go to the gym instead. So it's really going to be up to you guys to find some sort of motivation to get through. Now, whether that is that you've signed up with a buddy and you guys are going to keep each other accountable by going and doing these things together, whether it be cooking, gymming, walking, running, sport, whatever it is you're doing, making sure that you do it all together so that neither of you can slack off. That's a great idea. Whether it is talking to me more often because you can use me as a tool and saying, okay, Marty, I'm going to text you a photo of me every time I go to the gym so that I know that you're there and you know I know you're there. Things like that. But basically, it's just honesty in what you do, and when you make mistakes or when you don't do the work, which is going to happen. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm human. I know you're all human. It's going to happen that things are going to get in the way. Life gets busy. Things are going to screw up. I need you to tell me. I need you to be honest about things, because if you lie to me and say, oh yeah, I got all of my workouts in, I've been following my food, I've been cooking all my food, everything's been great, and then we get to the end of the week and nothing's changed, and I'm like, oh okay, it was probably just, something a bit stressful this week, and I don't know, measurements didn't change for some reason. We go to the next week, same thing, you tell me some bullshit story about how you've done everything when you haven't. Just be honest with me. It doesn't matter if you haven't done something. I'm here to help you get those things done. So if you tell me, I can help you either get on track or find something that actually works for you. If you don't tell me or you lie to me about it, I can't help you. So make sure that you're honest with me and yourself about what you're doing, and that's going to be basically your biggest step in actually achieving what you want, is having some accountability to your own actions. You're all adults. You can make choices. Yes, you can definitely choose to go out drinking all Friday night, but you've also got to choose that means your results for that week aren't going to be as good. That's the way up there. So just be accountable, be honest, and I'm going to give you as many tools as you can have at your disposal to really, really hammer home and get these results that you guys want. Other than that, this thing is going to be awesome, guys. Like, I'm really, really excited about the bunch of people that we've got for this. You all seem really, really fun. We've got a whole bunch of different professions and age brackets and men and women and everything, so it's really good. Interact with each other on Facebook, add each other as friends. We're all in the group together, so just respond to some of the prompts and links and things that I send through in there, and let's really make this thing a group activity, and we'll all sort of just achieve things together. And yeah, as I said before, use me as much as you need to. I'm always available for contact, so whenever you need answers to things, just send me questions, texts, phone calls, emails, Facebook messages, whatever, I'm always available. So yeah, just hit me up if you're struggling, or if you just want an answer to something, or if you want something swapped out. I'm here to use it. Yeah, I'm at your disposal, so go for it, guys. Let's absolutely kick ass with this 10-week challenge. I'm excited. Get yourself excited, guys. This is going to be an amazing time, and I can't wait to see just how everybody's looking and feeling at the end of this thing. It's going to be amazing. All right, let's get into it.